Bottom right of Whirlwind, we have the Terran player. It is prime time all over again. He's starting in orange, it's a Terran, and his ID is...
Byun Prime.
Byun Prime.
Look at that smirk. It's a smirk but true genius.
On a 1-1 score in this group, he won against Parting, but he lost his second game. He lost to ASD. Now he's up against the Protoss. At the top left of the map, we currently see in blue the STX Protoss. His Code S life is on the line here. He is not allowed to lose. His ID is...
STX's Sword, Trap.
No gas first for Byun, which normally speaking would be pretty, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, it's Terran versus Pros, of course not, but with Byun, you never know. In fact, I think he's probably gas first more, he's 1 racks expanded in this matchup. In this case, though, he will go for a command center first, changing up his style significantly, try to throw off the Kesper Protoss here.
I'm really interested how this game is going to go, because the problem that I have so far is that Trap really made an impression in Code A, and also just getting, getting a win in the Code A qualifier and all these things. This is something that I really appreciate in a player, and I can admire that. That is so hard to pull off. So it's a little bit underwhelming to see him go out like this so far, losing 2 games in a row.
This is the first time that we have seen Kestrel players, minus the Code A qualifiers and the WSCS qualifier. This is the first time we've seen Kestrel players have to play matches where they don't have time to prepare for one opponent. This is the first time we've seen them in a group stage where they don't have a lot of time to prepare, because the up and down matches groups are announced right before the matches happen, and you're in a group with 5 other people. That's not something a Kestrel player is too used to preparing for. So I think that that may be one reason why they're not doing as well as the other GSL players, besides the fact that obviously they have a little bit less experience.
He played so well in Code A though. He took down Oz without dropping a map. He was able to win against Supernova, who showed a great performance up to this point. And yes, he lost to Gumiho. Gumiho killed him.
That was actually...
It was brutal. I mean, that was brutal to watch, but Gumiho is sometimes... He's really good, but sometimes he's really even better than he usually is, and that was one of these days. Trap just didn't stand a chance, but with the games that Trap played in round 1 and round 2 of Code A, I really expected him to do a little bit better today. It's not like he was completely underwhelming in his performance, but I expected just a little bit more. And oh my god, look at that. He's going for 3 gates, 4 gate in total.
This is how you do it. There's when you see that command center first, your mind actually opens up all these branches, all these possibilities of ways that you can react. 4 gate is one of them. We saw last game a pull out of gas to get a faster Nexus. That's one thing you can do, and that we already saw. But Trap is taking the opposite approach, where he doesn't take a second gas and he just adds the gateways, stops probe production. He's at 19 probes right now.
And this is no cheese, guys. This is not like, yeah, this guy, blah, blah, he can't play the straight-up game, that's why he relies on a 4-gate. No, he scouted. He saw what's going on, and he decided, okay, if you try to execute this build, I have a really good shot with a 4-gate. I can try to overwhelm you, and that's what he's trying to do. On the other hand, Byun is playing it very, very safe. He's immediately starting to add additional bunkers. The question will be, though, will the second bunker be ready? Is it enough? Can he really hold this?
If Trap gives him a little bit more time, I think he will.
Yeah.
The SCV building the bunker is on half hit points, but actually it doesn't matter because he doesn't poke, and he's going to wait for another pylon here. I think that, well, here we go. 8 Marines in the bunkers. The SCVs were not ready, though, and he's actually trying to run by, but Byun says no.
Byun says no. He traps the Stalkers. He denies access with the SCVs. So many units lost, and now Trap is in the worst position possible. We even have Byun adding additional supply depots to close this wall, and he's just rallying units across to the front. This is horrible for Trap.
Yeah. I mean, look at the supply already.
I like the idea, but with 2 bunkers, it's just too much. With 2 bunkers and him already killing this many Stalkers.
It's a risk. When you take risks, you have to accept the consequences. That's true of anything in life, and it comes down to that, and 4 gates on Whirlwind. The map played into Ghost King's favor here in the cross spots. And now, basically, I don't want to say the game is over, but there have been probably less than 3 times where someone has done a build like Trap has done and come back to win a game.
He's trying to go for Nexus to play a catch-up game against Byun, who already has 2 command centers, whereas how much is actually his obviously 35 against 25 and the double mule. Therefore, the double Nexus by Trap. Trap looked at this early on and he saw, okay, you're playing very greedy right now. I might be able to punish you. If you only build 1 bunker, I will break through. Ghost King, aka Byun, he built 2. He was able to trap a few Stalkers, take them down, so Trap realized, okay, this did not work at all. I am way behind my opponent. My aggression didn't do anything. So he started with his first expansion, but he knew exactly that this is not enough. So he wants to sell the idea that he is still trying to be aggressive while double expanding and going for his tech. He will play very, very greedy and just hope that Byun is not using a timing to take him down.
I'm surprised he goes for Blink here. I thought he was going to go for DTs to be able to use the map against his opponent a little bit because it's so big and it's going to take so many scans to walk across it against DTs. What he doesn't know, of course, is whether or not Byun went for a fast 3rd command center or if he's actually teching up. Now he can see the Marauders. He knows what's really going on over there. But you know how behind Parting was on Entomb Valley just moments ago against Keen? Trap is even more behind than that. Nice targeting on the 2nd Stalker. He only gets 1, but he could have gotten a 2nd one there with just a little bit better clicking.
Stim is now soon to be finished. We have Combat Shield started and the +1 attack upgrade. Another advantage that Byun has. The 3rd base for Trap is done and he starts mining. The first few medivacs, that's the crucial point. They are building now. Byun is getting the 3rd command center and with the 2 medivacs he can start his aggression. And now will Trap be ready to somehow defend against this? It would be a small miracle.
Well, it would be it would be like
an incredible miracle actually.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of like miracles out there that have happened in games.
I think if Trap wins this game, he would be forced to leave STX and to join LGIM.
Do you remember Rain versus Inca? That game, that's like the biggest comeback I think there's ever been in Starcraft 2, but that was a sick game.
The medivacs are out, the Marines and Marauders walking across the map. Stim is done.
The army supply is 51 to 28, and all of it is together. It's here in a ball. And actually, I think that
he can just walk.
If he knew about the Nexus, he would actually attack here, but he's waiting a little bit longer. Guardian Shield is pretty helpful, but I don't think it's going to matter against the healing output here. Blink is not so useful in this case defensively.
And there are other force fields, but they're not useful enough. A few additional force fields, but now he can just run into the natural. That's exactly what he does. The force fields are working against Trap. Most of the Zealots are already gone. Now the Marauders are starting to attack the Stalkers again, and they die one after another, and so die the hopes of Trap to get into Codes. He's forcing his opponent back, but he suffered really a lot. Yeah, he held, but still
really
20
nicely,
Harvesters behind right now.
Exactly, that's the big story here, because it doesn't matter if you have a 3rd Nexus on the map if you can't really get the extra mining from it. Byun has a 3rd base up himself now as well. He can make triple SCVs and will be able to drop those mules. But this game is not over yet. He does not have any anything in place for the upgrades. He's now getting the armory. And this is a really nice catch with the Blink Stalkers. You normally want to use them just like this to pick off Marauders and then get away.
But to be honest with you, there is no tech for Trap. He's 20 Harvesters behind, plus the Mules. 3 base against 3 base. Upgrade advantage goes to Byun. I don't think that's... yeah. The trade right now... I mean, he held, but the trade was definitely better for Byun. And
it was an amazing hold, though. The micro was insane. How he zoned the units out with the force fields and then used Blink defensively, which is so hard to actually use correctly. I was impressed by that, but the thing is, as you said, the Harvesters and everything else just make it so that even though he holds, I mean, it's not like Byun's feeling sad about it.
It was really well executed. His unit control was good. The force fields at first worked against him, so the Stalkers were stuck behind them, which gave him a chance to walk up the ramp, but the Marines blocked it. But yeah, then he took down the units, but this follow-up is just crazy. +2 attack has already been started, and then +1 armor is halfway done, whereas Trap is now starting his first upgrade and charge.
He wants to grab some more units with these Stalkers. He's trying to find an opening. There's not much he can do, though. Storm is on the way. Storm is a great choice here because he knows that with the actual sheer number of Marauders on the map, Colossi would not be appropriate. He wouldn't be able to use them well. They're too fragile alone without support. But Storm is great because it works against upgrades. It is a great spell to control ramps like the ramps that he's controlling here with this third base.
Trap is actually getting in a much better spot than I thought. I completely apologize for what I just said. He's still way behind, but he's looking a lot better than 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Like I said, it's very rare you even see player who after that, like someone who does a build like that all the time is genius, right? And when it doesn't work, he types GG and leaves because he knows the chances of him actually coming back are slim to none. But in this case, Trap is really sticking in it, and
he's trying.
He's trying hard. He knows that if he loses this game, he has no way of getting out of the group, so he's got to. This is not a fight that Trap can take, though. He needs to get out of there, pick off a medevac and leave, or even leave before, that's fine.
He saw the High Templar and tried to catch him with those 4 Marauders that he just did. 5 ghosts are building now. And this immediately, this increases his chances, of course, a lot. The SCV count is now at 71. Trap has 66 probes, though. No 4th base for Byun.
Now the difference between Byun and Kian is that Kian was all over the place with his drops. He had scouting marines everywhere. He attacked. Byun is kind of just controlling the middle of the map, but he's allowing Trap to get all these tech upgrades. He's allowing him to reach that max supply. If he lets...
He gives him too much room to breathe.
Exactly. If he lets him get to max, then everything that he's done before will just be forgotten. Catching some zealots here.
It's actually Trap who tries to be a little bit aggressive.
Yeah.
I'm really missing drop play. I don't know exactly why Byun is not using some of his medivacs to start drop play.
He has a marine on every corner of the map to see bases and to see warp prisms, but he does not have any drops of his own.
The 4th base has now been taken for Byun. He's also getting another command center. +3 attack is started. Upgrade-wise, once again, he's far ahead.
These EMPs could change a lot of how this game is going to go. Dark Shrine and Warp Prism on the way for Trap.
Byun is playing this really a little bit too passive.
Passive, yeah, for sure. I think that he could be doing a lot more right now. He is starting to finally do a multi-pronged attack. That was a good storm.
Yeah, and if Trap is able to get more of these storms, then that would be devastating for Ghost King. For Byun.
Byun is going to go for an aggressive
a little bit off. That's exactly what we talked about earlier. That's what he needs.
Gets out, forces an Archon.
Drop play and aggression like this, taking down a few High Templars. If he does that earlier, then he can really pressure Trap. He didn't
Trap
do
should be fine here with High Templar, but he's got High Templar on the wrong side. And a good snipe. Byun is in a lot of trouble right now, though. That is a ton of charge zealots coming down on his army.
The stutter steps are far is good. There's still units to the left side that he doesn't use.
Yeah, they're so missed right now, and Trap is going to take a supply lead.
I cannot believe this is happening.
Well, I wouldn't have believed it if you told me before, but with how passive Byun is playing, this is a textbook example of what happens when you get ahead and you don't attack, you don't put pressure on your opponent. He will get this Nexus, and Trap did not continue to pursue those stemmed units very quickly in the middle of the map, so he's going to escape and survive another day, but this part is really scary.
There's still storms available. Yeah, 1 Templar in the back has a lot of energy. Here comes Trap, commits, maybe a bit too much. There are the storms though, and Trap might be able to pull this off. It's going to be very close. This fight is a close one. So many units coming in. He does not have another storm. I don't think that the High Templar has enough energy.
Oh, that medevac is so low on hit points. He gets...
He gets it. A 30 supply lead still for Byun. He has 4 bases.
That's because Trap did not deal very well with the dropship that was in his main while he was attacking. And look at all these orbitals that Byun has that's going to allow him to remax his army so easily.
Byun is getting has the lead once again, but this game is very much crazy.
Yeah. DT comes in here, stops a little bit short. Trap is...
He could kill the missile turret.
He will. I think if he pays attention to it. Nice saves there on the sentries. That was pretty cool.
The missile turrets? No?
Well, he just goes for the SCVs instead, which is exactly what he wants.
Loses those 2 DATs.
Even kills 2 Marines with it, though. He's going for the planetary. Not quite able to get it, but he damaged it significantly. Now, Trap if he had not lost that Nexus, would be ahead in this game.
Yeah.
He did lose it, and part of the reason why Byun lost that fight was because the units who killed the Nexus were actually out of position.
You know how Byun earlier played against Parting? I never thought that he would give Trap the chance to come back. And I can still not wrap my head around that. The lead that he had, twice the supply, such an amazing economy, and then no aggression whatsoever, just sitting there waiting. And we said it in the early game. We had Trap going for the risk, the double Nexus that he built and all his tech, not investing into units at all, just hoping that Byun would give him the time, and Byun actually did so. And Trap, I wouldn't have thought it possible, came back into the game.
It was like, you know, Byun was aggressive after the Nexus debacle with the double Nexi, but then it was like that scared him off of attacking after that. He was like, well, I'm just going to sit back and play safe and take the advantage I have and run with it. But the thing is, after a situation like that where you know your opponent has double Nexi and you leave him alone, that's when things get scary. Forcing the units off the line here with the Warp Prism, and he will force a cancel though, inversely on the top right on that Nexus. The units are coming to save it, and he actually will save it. That was a close call, but he saves it. Meanwhile, he loses his Prism though as a result.
Yeah, the Warp Prism is dead, and the Stalker of course too.
Just more DT harassment, using that pylon on the left side of the map, being very annoying. Ghost King still ahead in supply, but the gap is narrowed.
Yeah.
The upgrades right now are 3-1 versus, for Ghost King, 2-3. And
The 3-3 upgrade, the armor upgrade is nearly through though.
he needs to start those attack upgrades. There's +2 and +1 shields.
Resources lost are, well, still in favor of Ghost King, a little bit of Byun, but only by such a small margin. And this game is just getting closer and closer, with both players being on 4 bases right now.
Ouch.
Yeah, the High Templar kind of ran into this one, didn't he? That's
Wants
a
the
huge
observers.
amount.
Oh, wow.
They're gone. The High Templars, only 4 are left.
There are 15 ghosts. This is a big QXC style here. He can snipe so much with these and also get the EMPs. He can just snipe every Zealot if he wants to.
Nice EMPs here. Most of the armies now without shield, basically everything. A great EMP on the High Templar. That was brilliant. Only
gets
2
the
High
ones
Templars at the back.
He started to realize that Trap was using these Templar like this in the back of the army. This time he was careful, he was ready for it, and GG.
GG, that's it. Byun wins the game after all. Trap is in Code A. No chance of advancing to Code S anymore. Parting with a 2-1.
Yep, Trap becomes the sandbag here. He's packing up, and he will not be sitting back down in that booth very likely. Well, actually depends on how the rest of the group goes, because he may have to be that sandbag.
Nah, he definitely has to play against me.
He does.
He might not have to play his last game, but he definitely has to play against me. Which is the next game. So the next set of matches is going to be ASD versus Parting, Keen against Trap, and Byun versus Shine. These are the games that we are going to see as soon as we come back from a short break. Byun defeated Trap, Keen took down Parting, both Protoss players lost, and ASD lost against Shine. So we are heading into a short break, and then we are back with the next 3 matches here at the GSL Up and Downs.